So, where were we? Reading the statement. That's the first quick stuff I ought to do. Make sure my vocabulary is understandable by all. I did have a few open questions last night. It's mostly regarding what happens when the player does funky stuff that's kind of specified, but not that much. It does happen to be pretty important in the statement because the entire game revolves around interpreting what the opponent's doing. So I will need a better understanding about those. Yeah, might actually write a table about this. So torpedo, what are the possible ways it could do funky stuff? We could fire it at out of bounds. We could fire it at an island. We could fire it out of reach. And that's about all I can think of for now. And yeah. So right now I'm assuming a normal torpedo action has an outcome of opponent reads same action. I'm expecting an out of bounds action results in referee filters it, and it could end up with an unwanted surface action. And I'm gonna assume it's the same for those two. Now I'm also wondering about mines. Mines, so what about them? Normal, I suppose opponent just reads mine. Out of bounds, I'm assuming referee filters for now. Island, I'm assuming referee filters. Out of reach is not possible by construction, but we also have duplicate. I'm gonna add a question mark here. That's for mines. Trigger. I was wondering about what happens when we trigger, well, normal case. I'm assuming opponent reads same action. Actually, I could check. Yeah, that's what I supposed. We've got, well, the same usual. No, actually, let's just call this non-existing. I'm assuming non-own existing, which I'm going to assume the referee filters for now. We've got the case. Well, that's it actually. The statement is rather clear enough that you cannot detonate opponent bombs, and the dupe case should have been taken care of over there. Did I have any other questions? No, sonar is clear enough. Torpedo is clear enough apart from the questions up there, and move has no problem. surface is one of the funny cases where the opponent actually gets more information than we provide. But that's really nothing to be afraid of. And what else? Yeah, well, that's gonna be enough for now. I'll just take a quick break. Am I actually able to see? I'm just checking stream quality if it's readable enough, because in these conditions this is actually streamable enough for me, which is a first. Usually it's lagging like crazy, so I might want to keep this set up if that's stable enough for you. Don't hesitate to give a word on the chat. Okay, so those were my open questions. I'll get to this later on. Do I have a shell around? Yeah, I've got a shell around, but I don't have any place to show it to you. So, sorry, that's live. So you cannot see it, but I'm git diffing to verify all I changed since yesterday is in the plab, which is the case, so I'll commit it now. And now let's get to it. So update the vocabulary, cell. Cell, yeah, what's a cell? There's really not much interesting. I could give it as a type because all that's actual information on a cell and nothing else is whether or not it's an island. So for now, I'm gonna just define it as a Boolean. And I'm not sure I'm actually gonna use it. We'll see about that. Arch is short for archipelago. And I'm also actually using it currently for the already visited place map. So this ought to change. I never remember if Haskell lets me do this, but I'll try it anyway. So yeah, and there's no good name for the entire map yet. It's a map, but map is a very bad word to reuse in Haskell, so I'll just use another one, which I have no idea. Actually, Arch was good enough, so I'm gonna do something else. I'm still gonna call it Arch, but I'm gonna try and put a type parameter here. I never remember in Haskell whether or not this is legal. Apply order. This is all. This one I think is taking Arch bool and movable. Also takes an Arch bool. Okay, yeah, this works. I'll keep it. It's just a bit better than before. Now, yeah, quadrant. I'll take care of later on. Do I have any other place around where this could get improved? Is this loud enough? This could be boosted a bit, actually. I don't want to eat the mic, but then again, it's pretty far. How about I added this? Yay. Well, it's always going to be a bit better. We'll see about that. Archipelago is the immutable one that has islands or not. Previous trail is the one that remembers whether or not I can get there. So it's not really a cell. At least it's not the same nature of a Boolean information, even though it starts the same. This will probably get useful later on to me. I won't get to stream that, but if I get to change it, probability networks, this is gonna diverge. Previous opponent trail is still using this brain dead format. I will change it eventually, but we'll get there all in due time. Information really deserves to be last in the list. Well, at least after everything it uses. No, actually after everything, because at some point it is going to integrate some of the opponent's history. So let's have it last. I think that's mostly about it. I'm just gonna check if I've got any more booleans lying around. So position in, this is not answering a cell. This one's not a cell. This one's not a cell. Nor is this one. Okay, we're fine for this. So this is good. Well, what am I doing? No. Compile, copy, paste, run once and submit. The usual deal, just to make sure I'm not doing anything stupid. Yeah, it wins a match, so it's good enough to submit again, and we'll see how it goes. Step 2, sector, which I currently called quadrant, which is totally ridiculous because there are 9 of them, and nonant would be very correct, yet totally weird, so I'm just gonna mass replace them. And that should probably be enough. All good. Let's say this one's done. Action is one I noticed reading the statement again, that I'm distinguishing between 2 types of orders, and the statement is just a bit more clear than myself about this, and it calls them actions. The thing is, I'm most likely going to still need to distinguish them. Let's say this, you must perform at least one action. Yeah, well, I would very much like to have shorter names anyway, because this is not going to be readable too long and typable. So command order I'm going to rename to action, which I'm not using yet. And visible order I'm gonna call, well, eavesdrop. That's a bit long too. It's well, spying, listening, a listen. Mm, listen. Yeah, inspiration's not a good day, but it is rather important. My ranking is completely very bad. What happened? Is it just because I submitted again and everybody got better? Yeah, half win, half loss. I should get back to the middle. Why am I nowhere near the middle? Huh, well, we'll worry about that later on. Yeah. Still looking for inspiration. What is a good name I ought to use for something I'm listening to? Eavesdrop, listen, signal, signal. Signal's not that bad. Let's use signal. I ought to change those. Bam. Just get diffing to check where this ruins my alignment, and nothing springs to view, so I'll just, no, we're fine this way. Good. Well, that was easy changes. Okay, gonna git commit. And get moving, so commit message, yeah. What else did I have in the plab? Well, answer those questions, but I'll go with this as we move. So this, yeah, this is all my questions reformatted. Does an explosion damage mine? I think I checked and it said no. No, actually it doesn't even say so. Causes an explosion, okay. Like torpedo, whatever. You can also damage yourself, yes, but it says nothing about damaging mines or land for that matter. Yeah, that's, yeah, well, that's kind of a global explosion question, so we'll get back, but it is an open question. As far as I can tell, the statement says nothing, nothing about it. And yeah, questions about the metagame that are not exactly said. Checking the mine power name. Well, I dropped a post in the forum about this. Hopefully they'll answer sometime or even better update it. So code cleanup, what else ought we change to get something more readable? So what were the things I had a bad time with yesterday evening? This is badly aligned now. Missed that one. This could be a lot better too. This is signal stuff, not action stuff. Let's keep it close to the signals. Let's actually put some separators so we can read it better and jump to it better. So those are like base types. Archipelago and sector. We're not actually using that show instance anymore, but it doesn't hurt to have it. Oh, is this the place where I'm supposed to say bitstream? Position in a sector. Yeah, that's sector part with the divisions. Heading is more of a basic type. I'll bubble it up a bit. Signals one place I expect to have more to say, so we'll put a separator. And I'll put power as a sub part of action, which will get its own separator too. Okay, all there's is very data bound to headings, which are here. This one could get a bit of alignment too. Actually, all of those could align at least with the first plus. What more? I don't want to be using show instances anymore, so I'll put that in the stack. Yeah, to do. This is one of the rare cases I do not want to do to be highlighted. No, here. So, what did I get rid of this? Yeah, stop using show. This was good at the beginning, but I want to have natural parser and formatter, so I can keep read and show for my internal debugging. So that's something I'm gonna have to do. What about this one? Yeah, previous opponent trail. Why am I even using it? I don't think I'm using it for anything yet, right? I'm putting it in opponent trail. Am I using that? I'm not using it for anything. I'm just maintaining it and pass it on. Well, let's remove it for now because its format is stupid anyway, and we'll be doing something more interesting as soon as possible. Yeah. Less code means less bugs. No, less code means fewer bugs. I'm losing my English. Yeah, we'll actually keep it. We'll use it at some point. Yeah, we're back to, well, just a bit worse than before, but not that bad. Was there something new here? Oh, we got a league opening time for gold. Why not? So what did I change? I'm git diffing again. Added questions, reformatted stuff, added separator, well, just general prettification. Commit. I let add to the queue. I'd also want to use an actual quadrant cell position. This is mostly so I never ever get confused between X and Y coordinates, because the statement currently uses a left-handed system, and that's kind of rather a poor choice, but it's a bit too late to change it now. But almost any computer operations, including parsing the map, is done better the other way around. So up to now, I have not messed up, and I've always used the right place, but for future use, I might just as way do it once and for all and never worry about it again. So position to opaque type. Is something I like done. Just stupid cosmetics. Yeah, well, this one by its type tells us that the resulting position isn't necessarily valid in any way. Apply order is going to need a better name. Or am I actually using that? Probably just once. Let's delete it and see who's unhappy about it. And range R, yeah. Well, R happens to be the bounds of the archipelago, so we can just directly use that. That BFS isn't exactly a BFS as far as I can remember. It's a specific torpedo BFS. movable is the Boolean part, well, pendant to move, that checks whether or not it's an island and it's a previously visited position. Those in the end really ought to be fused. But that's really only something for when I'm going to be thinking about performance, which is far from being the case for now. VFS main game turn, I'm going to want to extract this. That's something for the stack. The reason I'm going to want to extract them is so I can experiment more easily without having both the strategy points and the intricacies of passing around the state too tied to each other. And I'd actually need to parse everything, which I'm not exactly doing yet. Okay, that was adding more stuff, pretty fine. So simplifications and cleanup. What's next in the stack? Stop using read and show for IO. Yep, let's do that. So, show. Well, for heading, I'm going to make an exception because there's really no logic around, and this one is transparent. So this one I keep. Sector, I do not want to be using its show instance to output because it's, well, for output or for anything, because its instance is going to add a sector string inside, and I don't want that happening. This is probably breaking stuff around. Yes, it is. So sonar, yeah. So we'll call that format sector for now and define it here. There. Any more show? Ooh, more highlighting. What now? Oh, PR's welcome. Okay, I'll do this later on. If you confirm my questions, because I can't update if I'm not clear myself with what it does. Get back to this later. So show instances. Any more show for action? No, that is not what I want. This whole thing disappears. And I'm going to want an actual action formatter. Using string because I'm not IO bound, well, for that much CPU time per turn yet, but I don't think it'll ever reach that point. So show move blah blah blah. No, wait. Like that. Yeah, well, that's mostly the same for now. Lots of show power. Nope. This is going to be the same thing. Any more showing? This one I'm gonna update later on. And map show action, no, it's mat format action now. This still compiles, yeah, because this is format power. This is looking a bit better. Same as usual. Replay and resubmit. I have not changed any functionality. I'm just making the code more robust to future change. Yep, all good, still winning. Submit, no change. So I'll consider it done for show, and still to do for read. So read for a heading, I am gonna keep it because it's so convenient. No, should I? The problem with read is that if read fails, I'll crash. Whereas global, well, the postil principle postulates you should be conservative in what you send and flexible in what you accept. So I should be a bit more flexible in what I accept around here. So let's remove this read instance even for heading and write at least a simple parser for this. Read sector is kind of the same deal. I do not want to have this anymore, and we will have to add a function for this. Deriving a read, I am gonna be bravely and boldly removing, and we'll add a special case for those. So the width, oh, this is actually something from the basic input. Really, really, really code in game. Please stop writing stubs this stupid. In this case, it's barely usable, but still, it's all bad practices in one. So let's do this reliably. Width, comma, height, well, pattern, I'm keeping this one, comma, my ID, get line, because I forgot to split it inwards. This one was expected. Let's keep moving. So this one is actually already correct. Okay, here we are. So the splitting part is okay. So we've got a list of string that represent, I forgot how we call those, a signal. And we are gonna want to use something other than read to decompose into signals. How are we gonna call that? We are gonna call that, well, interpret. Analyze is good. The first step, analysis. Map analyze to those. Yep, like any more read. Okay, so now we should have an undefined function, right? So signal as two stupid functions. I really should get rid of those two eventually, but we'll get there. Right now, analyze is a function from a string to a signal. Let's put a bit of error handling in this so I can at least debug a bit. So this signature is going to make the code in main crash, but I'll get, well, crash, not compile, but I'll get back to it. So analyze, we're just going to pattern match. So our words could be move, comma, something we expect to interpret as a heading, in which case we get a move and the read h. So this is where I said we shouldn't be doing this anymore, and actually this won't compile because I removed the read instance for heading. I want to be parsing them, so I'm gonna be analyzing a heading and put a move on top of it. Surface, comma, sector is going to be exactly that. Well, kind of the same. Analyze sector. Torpedo, comma, x, comma, y is going to be a torpedo. Torpedo signal, and yeah, this is going to be for later. So for now, I'm going to actually read them as integers. Later on, I'm going to want to get rid of this and use an opaque type to guard against myself doing more stupid stuff. Sonar has a sector. Silence has nothing. So what about it? Just silence. Nothing weird here. Yeah, except now it's in either, so it's a pure silence. Mine is also nothing. And trigger is an X and Y that's gonna be rebranded as a position as soon as I can. Actually, this is where I might actually be introducing a bug. Let me save this and check my diff of the former reader. No, the point is it read them in order. So yes, that's exactly what it did. No mistake here. So how many errors did this create? Analyze heading, which I do not have anymore. Let's add it. Let's call those a parser for a heading. So analyze heading, and analyze heading. Anything else equals invalid heading. I'm gonna need to keep the string, and this is some form of a fail. Well, actually, I'm not. This is old style Haskell. Keeping it for now, but a parser is a function that takes a string and a parser of a and returns either a string or that a. Here we are. We need to analyze the sector too. So analyze sector is a sector parser that reads an integer and only consider is it valid if it's between 1 and 9. So Yeah, and this is where I actually do not want to read the integer with those functions as such. How can I read with no exception if it fails to get an integer? Yeah, I get read. What can I get from a read? Ooh, that's a lot from a read. I get those. And read s, what does that do? Yeah, this is the one I want. I want to read s, and I want there to be a single parse with nothing left over. And how do I get a read s? With a read press, or with the read list, reads precedence. Okay. So analyze sector string. If I get a single integer with no leftovers from reads precedence, with precedence doesn't matter here. Well, I hope. With the precedence of 0 when in the string s, then you can return where, haha, no, you cannot yet. So this is the case. The parsing of the integer succeeded. We still have to check i's between 1 and 9. Anything else is an error. Analyze sector takes an argument there. Now, either string signal, yeah, this is just about, so I'm supposing for now the parsing went well, and now we've got to actually do something interesting with the fact the parsing may or may not have succeeded. So this is actually going to be here. NA returns an empty list with success, and analyze might return an error. And if we're not able to parse, there's not much we can do, but at least we've got control over it. So case opponent orders of got an error. Write out the error. I'll use trace because it's easier. Let's give the error directly. Something like that, and afterwards just quit. If not, well, nothing specific actually, but I've got to have the other case. And I'm gonna want to extract that information. So that's gonna be my new opponent orders. Well, no, just opponent orders. Yes, pure, because I'm an IO. Opponent orders, and I do not want to call this opponent orders, but opponent's order parse. Right. I'm gonna need to put back. Let here orders here, and this is how I'm now defining opponent orders. I hope the indentation is good enough for him. Oh, gonna need to import this. Okay. It compiles, therefore it works. Try again. It does not. Now that's interesting. Let's check it again. I still have a read someplace with no parse. Where do I have a read? Here. Here. Come on, don't tell me. Torpedo 47 move E. Ah, this could be it, but come on. With height, no, probably not. All of those are valid integers. Now that's a good one. Read nor parse, torpedo 47. Well, how about I try it out directly? That's kind of the point. Would you please analyze torpedo 47 for me? Yeah, show it. Yeah, it's not showable. This is why I'm gonna need to put the show instance back. But this time I know I'm not using it, so it's gonna be for debugging. That's exactly the point and why I did this. So I want to be able to show a signal now. I need to be able to show a sector. And oh, that's it. Okay, let's try it again. So this is the one that gives no parse. Isn't that interesting? So how about I'm gonna try to parse it. It's probably this part of the parsing because I'm not too used to doing that, but I don't want to be using a full parser here. So read precedent 0, the word for as a read s of int. Is that enough? Needs a string. Yeah, applied to a string as a list of int string. Well, that one does look like it's okay. That's exactly what I parse for. So let's add a bit of debugging here. I'm just adding a trace to what he's parsing so that I get a log before an exception. And it's not writing anything. Oh, that's sector. That sector and torpedoes, the one that already didn't. Oh, wait. Read X is pure. What does that even mean? That's me messing my types. Yeah, how do you interpret this? To bind that with an either string signal you bind that by wanting to read an either string int instead of what I have here. So yeah, x and y for now is a pure torpedo of read x, read y. And it's kind of ridiculous to change it now because I am going to want to update it differently later, but bear with me. So read the same case here. Don't need this anymore. That's much better. Yeah. All good. Submit again. So, how's the pleb going? Stop using read for IO. I'm not quite there yet. Well, I'm fine with using it for the list of integers. For now, because this has never failed me in coding game yet. Let's just check for read again. So this one, I'm going to want to put my beliefs in. I currently believe it is not possible for it to answer me that the opponent shot a torpedo out of bounds. Let us make this. Well, no, because that's going to be part of the opaque type I want to extract for the coordinates. So maybe later. For now, just align this and yeah, well, that's going to be enough for now. So this is done. Let's commit. Well, div checking I don't have. I'm sorry you can't see these, but believe me, it's much better that you can't see this, but the computer remains responsive so I can stream without getting crazy. All good. Okay, next part. Want to migrate position to an opaque type, and this is what I expect will result in the least amount of fury later on when I have to change things fast. So position here, I am going to make this a new type, and this is going to make all of my code not compile anymore. And all I'm going to want to be doing now is make it compile again. So let's get to that. Distance. How do I compute the distance between those? Well, that's easy enough. I just match and it works again. This one's going to be the same. So if it is a position within a given sector, that's okay. You're allowed to peek inside of the position. Next. How do moves happen? Next. Okay, so this one is guarding it to be in range, while this is going to be used all over the place, so it deserves its own function. Let's put it right here for now. I'll call this on map. Are we on the map? Well, is this position on the map? That's a simple pass returns bool. And this one's going to be allowed to peek in as well. Actually, I don't even need to peek. I can just use it this way, and in range, we'll just copy pasting, but well, I'm even too lazy to go there. So this compiles fine, and this is simplified on map. This one couldn't match a pair with boss. Yes. Why is that? Because for some reason this iteration is returning a pair. And why is it returning a pair? It's returning a pair because of exactly the same cause. This thing here should not be in range anymore, but a simple on map, which allows me to merge those lines and still be readable. That cannot be it. Yes, archipelago. Ah, this is where it's gonna start getting ugly. Archipelago. So here, the correct solution to this would be to make the archipelago, where's it defined here? Not an array of positions anymore, but, well, not an array of integer pairs anymore, but an array of positions. There are two things to ponder here. This will make most of the array code possibly less optimal. Well, yeah, believe me, it makes part of my life purer yet more complicated down the road. I'm still gonna try and go the pure route here. So I'm gonna bite the bullet and say yes, I'm indexing on position, which is now an opaque type. Which means I'm gonna have to check, well, those are mostly okay. I'm just gonna need to allow to derive a few type classes on it. So what is the actual problem? Error. You are trying to, at some place, I'm trying to use this archipelago as an array of integer pair instead of an array of position, and that's what gives me the type error. Where's the most likely place for this? It's obviously here, where I'm defining it as a list array of those. So this should not be too bad. I think all I need to do is this and derive a few instances. No instance for xpass. Let's have it. I'm already putting parentheses because I'm gonna need those. So ord, yes. Heck, yes. Okay. Now, that's kind of the same thing. Moreover, do I actually need to destructure this? I don't think so. Let's just... Oh, actually, yes, I do. Just for this. Well, okay. I'll simplify this just later on. My position, am I actually using it? I think I'm only using it as a pair here. Yeah. So my pass is gonna be read here, but not ever used again, I hope. To make sure of that, I'm just gonna rename those I expect those to be red here and only here, and everywhere it isn't, I'm gonna replace it with my pass. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Here is my pass. Yet another my pass. And destructuring here, where are those used? It's kind of the same. So I'm gonna call this my new pass, which is used as is here. Torpedo shoot pass wants to be a position 2. I think I need parentheses here. Yes, I do. Okay, only warnings anymore. And actually the same old warnings, so if I'm splitting my plab up, change type to new type, and this is done. And what do I want to be doing after that? Yeah, okay, submit. I'm going to factor this to subcomponents. Well, no need not to commit now if it compiles, and it's better than before. Commit. There. Now to use it. So the most interesting places where I need to use it is in all of my internal and structural data types, most notably the signal and action management. So let's get to that. Mostly any place I have integers in my data is going to be suspicious. What's this? Ah, come on. Cat threw stuff all around. So let's seek and destroy integers. So this one's remaining. Distance is going to remain for now. Sector, this one's a data definition. This one here is going to be a pass. This one here is going to be a pass as well. Same here. This one is a distance. It's staying an integer for now. This one's a pass. This one's a distance. And that's it. This is going to break everywhere. I need show pass to be able to show it. This is fine. I can add it. Now, this one doesn't work anymore because I need to parse those two. So it's now going to be torpedo, analyze pass, x, y, which I'm going to need to define, and the same here. Trigger, analyze pass, x, and y. I'm going to need to define it. So here we go. It's actually got a string for x and a string for y. So this is the place where I'm gonna put my reads press again. Same as here. I should actually make a function for that. Well, let's copy paste for now and I'll functionalize it later. But for now, yeah, it's gonna be, no, I'm gonna make a function right now. So my function is going to be read int. I'm going to need this function because I'm already going to have to use it twice here. So I'll put it here and move it elsewhere later. I need to have a read int function that takes a string and returns maybe an int. And this is where I copy paste what's going to be cut and paste in a minute. So do it this way. And so what do we do in this case? Well, we return the integer. Otherwise, report a correct error. There's no way this compiles. So now analyze pos is going to be a position of that pair here. So it's kind of applying this to read int sx and read int sy. It shouldn't be a maybe, I'll get back to that. And make a pos out of it. Something like that. And so yeah, this is wrong. So this is actually an int parser. Wrong type. What's wrong now? Oh, of course. Yeah, this is not really a pos parser. This is something that takes two strings and returns. Yeah, I could write it like this, but this would be very confusing. So I'm really gonna do it the other way. So constructor torpedo has one argument has been given two. Indeed, torpedo has a position now, and it's gonna have a format pos instead. Trigger is gonna have the same error. This isn't defined. Let's define it. Well, it's much easier to format it. This is gonna go more general upwards. Where is my pos? So here I'm gonna want to format pos. Ooh, this is where I have to swap them because they're given in XY coordinates and I'm using, well, that's easy enough. I'm just gonna swap them here. Format pos, where was I? And this is where I'm gonna unswap them. So it's gonna be show X space show Y. This part is easy. Torpedo has one argument, indeed. Same for trigger here. Same here, so it's a position P, and there's really no need to even read what this was. There. Compiles again. How are we around here? Yeah, still compiling, still lagging on the rankings. Play again, still works the same. Still good, still winning. Submit again. I'm not gonna commit just yet because the code formatting is horrible now. Let's just go and read that. Oh, and add a comment as to what file. I'm gonna need to do this too. So right now, if I get an error parsing a position, I'm just returning the integer error, not an int. I am gonna want to specify I had an error reading this integer as a part of a position. I'm also going to want to actually check those integers are in the right range next, so I'm going to do both. Where's my so right now I'm just putting a pos constructor on top of it. I am going to want to check it. That's almost the case for a smart constructor, but we're all in a single file, so we're not really going to be... Oh, I can use a specific name to make sure I'm not doing this. Let's do that. Oops. So my pos constructor is going to take a pair of integers and return either a mistake or a pos. So my constructor, and here's my doubt again. Do I want, in which order do I want X and Y here? And I'm gonna have it in the natural order. That's an arbitrary decision. Oh, just a second, this is important. I don't even need to watch it. He's not even here. How am I supposed to remember how his nickname is spelled? D. Sorry about that. Where were we? Yeah, Y and X. So this is where I want to check both are in range. And yeah, it's kind of this on map thing. So I could build it and then check it's correct. And that's the lazy but easy to update later way to do it. So I am gonna create this. I'm deconstructing it all the time. How do I? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to use a smart constructor here. It's going to be at analysis time for now. Let's keep it at that. So we're going, well, exactly this, and we're returning a position, and all we have to do is make sure it's on map. It doesn't have an empty instance. Let's do it the other way. Well, explicitly. So we've got this. Let's have it this way. We've got the position like this. And what we want to do is when it's on map, return it. Well, return it with no error. Wait, it's already a nightmare. Ah, this is horrible. I get an error. We're gonna use do notation like this. Well, if is enough. If on map p, then return it as such, else fail with position not on map. Something like that. What I still don't like about this is the fact the position errors here currently propagate directly, whereas I'd like to add a comment, so I'll do that now after I fix the type mistakes. I'm kind of ashamed to show this to you this way because this does not work anymore in the newer GHC versions. Let me check actually. Fail stuff, either string or thing. Yeah, this still gives an exception. This is not what I want. Doesn't either have an interesting instance for this. Function without semi-groove, foldable, reversible. No, none of those. I I want the new style actually. So I'm kind of stuck. Do I have? No, accept. Monad error, is that the one I want? Throw error, catch error. That's closer to what I want. So instead of fail, I'm gonna put throw error. It was throw error, right? It was throw error. That's a good one. This one is gonna remain a fail. I'm gonna test them anyway later on. Where was I anyway? I got lost. I was making a smart constructor for positions. So let's have it at that. Here we go. Yeah, position not on map. I would like to have a specific case around here for wrapping my integer error inside of while analyzing position. Maybe the monad error actually has useful stuff for this. General monad stuff, accept, functor, applicative. So throw error, catch error. Lift either. That's almost what I want. Map, it's map I want. Here we go. Map, accept. So I want to map, accept. I don't suppose you've got bifunctors on coding game. I want to map accept here with something. So I want here a function that takes an either string post, yeah, well that. And that function would only apply if that either is a left so I expect to find it around here, or maybe in control arrow. Left, yeah, not here. I'm pretty sure it's in control arrow, but then one's hard to get by. How left app. Left, here it is. That's what I want. I want to apply a function to the left side only. So let's import it and use it. And to the left, I just want to prepend something. Analyzing. Well, that's a lot of change. Can this still compile? Wrong type, of course. Why? Yeah, well, how about map either? How about just map? I mean, I don't need this. Yeah, that's better. Better, more readable. I was wondering, do I need fmap or can I just, well, this obviously I can, but can I do this and remove the parentheses? No, I can't. Well, yeah, I'm not quite sure it's more readable anymore. If you have opinions, say so in the chat. There we go. Well, as long as I don't go creating positions everywhere and only deconstruct them, this is a pain point about position. I'm gonna consider this undone. I'd like it to be possible to deconstruct. So enable, well, let it be possible. Tolerate and restrict or discourage direct construction, which is like non-analysis construction. Analysis construction. That's what I like later on. So this compiles. I do want to test it a bit more before. So analyze pass. Like the usual case is 4/7. So this works, but I'm missing. No, it's supposed to be split already. So this succeeds. Now, if I put a 10 here, it succeeds. Yeah, actually it should. If I put a 20, it should not anymore. That's good. And the other one is what if I put a triple X here? Okay, this is good. That's exactly what I wanted. It was a bit more painful, but this is gonna make me much more confident. My code is fine. Moving on. Do I have anything more I want to factor around positions? Let's just look for them. So positions, parsing, blah blah. This remains position in, yeah, that's the link between positions and sectors. So this is fine, and this is a case where I'm accepting, tolerating a deconstruction. Those are fine use. Those are the ones I made it for. Here's my analysis. Analyze boss, yeah, takes them in order and switches them later on. Those are also what I made this for. This is very ugly, now it's not aligned anymore. Actually, that's the one to align it to. This one is one where I do not have the choice of deconstruct kernel or not, and if I fuse it, it is going to make it cleaner later on, so I'll fuse them in some next iteration. Because I suppose on map is only used there. Position, yeah, those are fine. This one I probably shouldn't keep this type signature anymore. Okay, apply orders. Okay, so some of those things are cleaner than others. So those two, well, 42 is ridiculous, but I do want them not to be used anymore. So I'll call this the input X. This is the input Y. Actually, it's YX, yeah. And this is one position of danger where there is so much chance of confusing X and Y. Int put, haha. Okay, this still compiles, but this is one of those cases where still compiles doesn't mean it'll necessarily work because of all of those opportunities to mix up X and Y. Well, at least it beats him. I'm sorry for beating you up all the time, but you're the last one I had to debug against. Yeah, still kind of good enough halfway through. So git diffing, git diffing for places where it got bad or unindented. Yeah, so the biggest change here is I've been using the exception monad because my code was actually wrong before. But this is a tough case. It's something that's still kind of in the flux of changing in Haskell syntax. It makes everybody's life miserable for 5 years and then it's going to be a dream world again. Okay, so my commit message, well, I'm gonna check for indentation atrocities. What's this? Get back here. But most of the change here is just integrating my opaque position type inside of my action and signal types. Yeah, I'm gonna use the full screen editor for this. Can I have the... So I was saying integrate blah blah blah, integrate the pass opaque type to the internal signal and action operations. Also fix either based parsers to use monad error instead of that old misguided attempt at monad fail. There we go. So what's up next in the plab? This is actually not done yet. What is done? What's done here is integrate to signal and action. We do want to factor the operations a bit. So what are most operations we do? Most of it is move, which is already factored. What else could we be doing on those positions? The in-range stuff comes up a lot, and this one is actually not something I want. I do not want in-range bound archipelago. I want the on-map. So how's this one used? It and move. So second in-range bounds. What I want here is an on-map. So that's a bit of the factoring. Just merge those lines down. Any more here? This ought to move to, I do want to separate the parsing for later on, but the stream is going to be a bit long if that's all I do, so I'll keep it. Well, yeah, it's it remains a matter of policy. Do I want to have my entire time spent on Ocean of Code streamed and recorded, or do I want to advance on it on my own every now and then? And I'm still not sure myself. So I dislike this here because this should be exactly what the format pass is all about. Can I use that here? Well, let's try that. Format pass swaps them back. So this ought to be correct. Well, I hope. Yeah, that was in main. So I do not want to be deconstructing this anymore. It's going to be my start pass. And it's going to be formatted as such directly. It still works. So this is the global range. So those zero things, do I have too many of those? So this one actually ought to be factored. So the game range I'm going to define once and for all. To this, and I do not want to see a single 14 anymore ever again. So on map now does not need to deconstruct the position anymore. It should be able to do the in range directly. Any more 14s, so this one is directly gonna be on the game range. Any more 14s? No, I'm out of them, and that's good news. So this is a bit better than before. What else could be factored around? Oh, those should read int now. So how did this one work? Read int is a parser of int. To which I want to add this check. Well, rewrite it in a way. So what's happening is we're reading it. Yeah, it's gonna be do notation again. So the int is read. If it fails, this is where we want to have prepending again. How did I do this? Analyzing. It doesn't need a space in the beginning. This doesn't need, yeah. So analyze it now. Bounce check. No, just if. So if the bounds are correct, else we get an error. What's wrong with my left? Well, I'm stumped. What's wrong with this? It's supposed to be the same one as before. Both X and Y, left, pause, takes in either string pass and returns in either string pass. If I remove this, I suppose it works. Oh, yes. It's applied directly, it's not in the monad. Like literally, it was written above. Sorry about that. Okay, so this parsing is much better now. Do I have any more reads pressed? No, not anymore. This one is the only one. Could align those a bit. And those two, yeah, I'd want to fuse, but I'm getting a bit too tight for that now. Maybe for another time. Those two ought to be moved to the beginning with the rest of the position stuff. Or almost game data here. Yeah, say around here between the positions and the map. This I'd have to get rid of. Analysis, actions, format. So the other one that does come along a lot is this form of predicate. Like, am I in the open sea or on an island or looping? But this one's a bit trickier to factor because it needs input in form of the already visited cell map. So for now I'm gonna delay and I'll clean this up in its own right at some other time. Why are those not aligned here? Well, okay, I think that'll be enough for now. So we'll consider those factored. No, not that. Done. We'll keep those two for a bit later on. Then extracting IO operations I'll do tonight if I'm motivated, but that's really gonna be enough for now. How's my git diff going? Yeah, factoring was a bit light. Well, okay, that's just... Yeah, I did factor a bit. It's just that I added some moving around and some reformatting, so let's do that. It's what did I do? I said I factored operations on position. There. Well, okay, that's gonna be enough for one session. If you've got any questions, you're always free to hop around on either the Twitch chat, the coding game chat, or just answer on the forum. And see you next time.